Hello, everyone, and welcome today. One of the FSL playoffs, where the top 8 teams from Open Four are going to be competing for points and a shot at qualifying directly for the Elite tournament happening later this year. I'm Zach, and with me here is Matt today. So, Matt, how are you feeling?
Super stoked to be here, Zach. It's our first time on a Game Changers APAC Open, and what can I say? We have 8 amazing teams to start off the playoffs day with. And just talking about that, let's take a look at the circuit format we're having. For those of you who are just tuning in, this is the Open for Stage 1 playoffs day 1. And by the end of this weekend, we will be determining 3 teams that will qualify for APAC Elite Stage 4, which is happening later this year. So this is the last open that we're having
Mhm,
in the first half of the year, and then we're
mhm.
going into Game Changers APAC Open Overtime, and then APAC Last Chance, and then APAC Elite. And it's an absolutely stacked year we have right now. Let's take a look at the prize pool. We're having the first prize and the up to the eighth prize showing right there on the screen right now. But man, these girls, Zach, they really are fighting for the top prize.
Oh yeah, definitely. 5,000 total, 1,500 USD is nothing to scoff at, and of course, second and third place are also making it. But more than the money, I would say it's the chance of qualifying directly for elite that's at stake
Mhm.
here, especially with the teams. So, today's matchup is going to be between Alter Ego Celeste and Aresta. And Alter Ego Celeste, well, I don't think they need much of an introduction. If you have
Mhm.
been watching any of the Opens so far, or even like last year's tournament, they were the winners. It is going to be them versus Aresta today. And the nice thing here today is that Alter Ego Celeste have already qualified for Elite because they won every single Open so far, and they also made it to the playoffs this time. So that has given them enough points to make the playoffs for sure, guaranteed.
Yeah, the queens themselves, Alter Ego Celeste. I mean, they've yet to be dethroned, right? They've won the first 3 opens. No, well, the first, really the only team that have consistently been able to put up against them was X10 Crit, who unfortunately will not be here today on the playoffs. That's right, X10 Crit wasn't able to qualify for the playoffs. They were in the same group as Aresta, and Aresta, or rather not Aresta, but Team Thirst Red, and well, from the group stage, X10 Crit wasn't able to advance.
Yeah, I think Thirster definitely showed that they were really thirsty, pardon me. But yeah, they did manage to make sure that Exton wouldn't be making it today. And so like I was saying, it's going to be Arista versus Alter Ego. And the thing is, Alter Ego is already qualified, so they're going to be chilling. And if you look at their roster, you do have some extremely scary players on board. So you have Ineri. I don't think we really need to introduce Ineri much because we all saw her play Jet last time. And I think it was against Team Orangutan, if I'm not wrong, where she
Mm.
clutched out a 1v4 to keep the OT going and actually get them to uh win that match and ultimately knock Orangutan up. So of course Inari needs no introduction. Alter Ego Celeste needs no introduction. But looking at Aresta here, this is going to be pretty interesting because this is a team which it used to be called Urkat Aresta. You saw them last time in Elite as well, and they've been struggling a little bit, I would say, during these opens. And so I think this is the map where they have to try and win to have a chance at even qualifying. Because
Mm.
right now, if you look at the point score, they are going to be at I don't know, somewhere around seventh or eighth or ninth place if I'm not wrong. So they need to try and do quite well in this open four to make sure that they have a shot at qualifying.
Yeah, I really would just want to highlight just how much of an impact Nuki brings into these games for Aresta. I mean, Aresta's been trying for so long to get into the playoffs, and this is the best performance they've had so far in these opens. They've yet to drop a single game, and well, this might be the season that they're looking for. Let's take a look at the map, Vito, and we're about to show that right now. The first one, we're going into Haven, and Haven is one of the strongest maps here of Alter Ego Celeste. They've yet to drop a game in Haven in the whole of Game Changers this year. So really, this is a behemoth match for Aresta.
Definitely, it is. If you look at the actual statistics for this map, Aresta has a 50% win rate, and ACL, like you mentioned, it's practically flawless here. So it is. It's gonna make things really, really tough for Aresta going into this matchup. But the second map we pick is going to be Icebox, and it is one of Arista's nicer maps. And again, like you mentioned, this is a
Mm.
map where they are rather famous for having Nuki on the Reina here. So we've seen players like Tens or other
Yeah.
players go like recently. I think we saw CNET on Reina, and when you have these kind of roles like a very strong duelist on a map like Icebox, they definitely have a lot of impact. And I think that in the recent comps, we also have seen some Fade coming in here. So I'm definitely excited to see if we are going to be some more Fade action coming in for the side of Aresta.
Yeah, actually a little bit surprised here, Zach, that Aresta picked Icebox against Alter Ego Celeste. By the way, so I said earlier, it's 100% win rate so far for Game Changers Open for Alter Ego Celeste in Haven. The same is true for Icebox. They've yet to drop a single game in that map. And when you look at Aresta, the flip side of things, overall, statistically, well, it hasn't been their best map. So perhaps they're gonna be showing us something new here in Icebox.
Perhaps we hopefully we do see that. But first, we're gonna be heading into Haven for the day. And looking at the map picks, it seems like Aresta is kind of messing with this. We did see a Yoru coming in, and I don't know if they're gonna be serious with it, but if they are, I'm pretty excited to see it. Never mind, they are gonna be swapping around things a bit until we get into a more fun position from them. But meanwhile, ACO seems to know exactly what they want to do because they have gone in for their usual picks, with the exception of Napski, who is going to be on that Fade. I'm really excited to see how she's going to play out, especially with Iceberg on that Sova, because both these players have had so much impact coming in so clutch. I think you
Mm.
usually see Napski on something like the Killjoy when it comes to Haven, but this time it does seem like it's going to be a double initiator pick coming in for the side of AECO.
Yeah, this is something that they've been practicing a lot of, especially in Open 4. We've seen this before, the fade into the Sova. Fade, I'm not particularly sure about this. Well, in bigger maps like Icebox, where they have shown it before. Now, though, in Haven, I would argue that it is a bit of a better pick compared to in a big map like Icebox. Very, well, I would say standard becoming now, having the fade here in Haven. Definitely standard here, of course, is the double initiator comp coming out of Aresta. But again, I have to paint the picture, and the picture here, Zach, is Haven is one of the best maps of Alter Ego Celeste. They are so experienced in it. You can even argue that this is one of their home turf, so to speak. And
Yeah, I think it's gonna be an
it's
uphill battle
yeah.
all the way for Arista here on this map, and hopefully, if they do manage an upset here, I'm gonna be really amazed, and it's gonna be one for the books. But there's a first time for everything. You never do know what a team has in the back, and
Mm.
it seems like they are confident about the firepower because looking at the comp they're running, I think they're planning to be pretty aggressive here. It also makes sense considering that if you look at the picks, it is going to be ACO starting off an attack here. So as long as Arista can get enough rounds on defense, let's say around 4 or 5 at least, they will have a better time on attack and they might be able to make something work here. Because on a map like Haven, when you have so many areas you can possibly attack, you have to hold 3 sites with 5 people. That's not an easy task for any
Mm-hmm.
team.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see just how Aresta is going to approach this game number one. Of course, it is Alter Ego Celeste who picked up Haven. No surprises there. And Aresta actually going for the defensive side here is going to give them a lot of options for these sort of unexpected plays, right? I mean, Haven is known for its avenue on letting teams just go for those lurks, right? And having that dedicated sort of sentinel is definitely going to permit Aresta from doing that. But the question is Alter Ego Celeste going to be ready for it? Are they going to shut down that type of aggression, or even is Aresta going to go for that?
I mean, I think Haven is one of the maps where you really do want to get as much map control as possible, whatever side you're playing on,
Mm.
attack or defense, especially if you're on defense, because if you know that if you have an agent like Sova or KO and you know how many people are outside a site, like for example, that
Mm.
initial arrow towards A main can give you a lot of important information. It's like an immediate sign for you to get some more control, whether it's on a
Yeah.
near garage or whether it's towards C long, and you really want to play on that kind of control because otherwise it's going to make things really rough and it can really slow down pushes coming in from the attacker. So I think that that's the kind of strategy that ideally Arista should be looking at. But who knows what they have in mind? And definitely, if you had to place a bet, Matt, what are your predictions for this matchup?
We're not supposed to place bets as casters, by the way. But well, it's a classic David Goliath story right here.
Mhm.
Who on their right mind is going to bet on David, that small boy with basically just rocks for ammunition? But who knows? Maybe a miracle can happen here. Maybe this is a Bible story after all. But fact of the matter is, Alter Ego Celestes are the reigning queens, and they aren't showing any signs of faltering. So I don't think they're gonna be dethroned anytime soon here, Zach.
Yeah, I don't think I think it's very unlikely, I'll be honest, but you never know, and I always love a good
Yeah,
underdog story. It's always wonderful to see
yeah.
it. So let's see if Aresta has what it takes. It seems like they're gonna be starting off towards a C rush from A Seal, and immediately Ayumi is gonna be taking the Nuki, who peeks just a bit too aggressively. Rosie, though, she is able to get the trade onto Ayumi, and that is gonna get things back to a 4v4, but the C side is lost now, and the spike will go down. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
retake coming in from the side of Aresta here, so let's see if they can actually manage that.
Yeah, thankfully they will be able to thin out the numbers of Alter Ego into a 4 versus 4 still as the retake now commencing. Everyone down in C long. A curious strat here for Aresta, but so far they're making it work. 1-for-1 trade so far. Nabsky picks up Rudy's, and now it's an all-out bite.
Oh, no.
No smokes available, but Oreo, Ophelia picking them all up one by one.
Oh.
It's all down to Zengi, who will fall to Oreo as well. That's the first round going the way of Alter Ego.
That's a very nice one-way on the spike. Somebody tried to tap it, and immediately there was just a quick peek coming in from the side of AE Seal. That was the headshot coming in. And yeah, that is going to be the pistol going to Ultra Ego. For a second, it looked like Aresta had it in the bag because, you know, there were all these equal trades going on, but it is going to give them a little bit of an advantage here. The spike went down as well, so you are going to see those upgraded Spectres coming in. This should be a round that probably goes in the favor of Ultra Ego yet again because of these upgrades. But you never know, somebody might be in a corner with a shorty or even better, a classic, and that might make things really rough here. It seems like they want to go towards the A side. They are going to spot out Izanagi here, but I don't know if they expect more than 1 or 2 players here.
Go shorty in the hands of Noxy. You get spotted out because of the utility. Beautiful job right there on the boom bot. Another beautiful utility usage from Nary as they pick up another kill with this aggression down in a site. And it's going to leave Rosie all alone. Will not even be able to find anything. A little bit of damage done as Ayumi fell in that round for Alter Ego Celeste, but the round is theirs nonetheless. 2-0 on the board.
Definitely, and that was a really nice round. You know, when you do have these upgraded weapons, often you feel like extremely confident. You're like, yeah, let's just rush site, let's just run at them with the Spectre, and you don't check corners, and often you can pay for that. But this shows like Alter Ego Celeste experience here. They show they you know they're like, yeah, you know, well, we don't want to be your ecoed here, and we are gonna meticulously clear out every corner before we actually take the site. They do take a little bit of damage. I think 3 people lost their armor, and they did lose one of their players as well. But nevertheless, they do have this bonus. They do have 3 Spectres and a Marshal to play with here. It's going to be the Fade utility that catches out Yuki. They know that there's one player playing close towards the garage here. It seems like it's going to be a B hit as they make their way forward. Fade really proving her mettle here. And oh, that nade is going to do quite a bit of chip damage to the Omen here as Napsky gets a kill. And it seems like the B side is being held as Rosie, she is doing her best to make sure it doesn't get taken here. The trade's coming in quickly, and it is going to be a 3v3.
Rosie just anchoring the site down in B, holding the line against Alter Ego Celeste. But so far, they've been able to equalize. Nai take the advantage now in terms of manpower as they take control of C site as well. And both members of Aresta here, Zengi and Rosie, coming in from different sides of the coin. But they decide to call the lurk off, instead sending Izengi into garage instead of C long. So this is not looking good for them at all. This is the exact same setup in round number 1. But main difference now is, of course, Aresta has a man disadvantage. There's still a dark cover about to spawn up for Oreo as well. So just a few seconds is all it takes for them to buy. Utility comes out. Iceberg Bullet is going to hit its mark. Rosie all alone now with 7 health. Use that turret for a little bit of backup, but back on out away. Wants to save that gun. Running for her life as Alter Ego Celeste run with their 3rd round of the game.
Yep, and the worst part is they do manage to also pick up 2 rifles from it, so they are going to not only break the eco for the side of Arista, they are also going to be able to get 2 upgrades, so that's definitely going to look really, really good for their economy here. And that's going to be, apart from the rifle, which the Killjoy managed to save, it is going to be a half buy coming in for the side of Aresta. They do have that judge on the jet, though. She seems to be debating whether I go for a shorty or, well, you know, I'm sorry, judge or a Bucky, it's gonna be the Bucky that wins out. Never mind, the decision is still going on here, and you know, you never know. The judge might really prove events, especially if they manage to take out Iceberg first, which means that Sova Utility isn't gonna be online. So either way though, this so far seems like ACL, they know exactly what they're doing. They're old hands at this. They've practiced this map extremely well, and yeah, they know exactly what to do. Oh no, Noxy gets one, manages to dash out as well, so that's gonna be the trade knock coming through, and slight advantage going into Aresta here as Izanagi gets 2 with the Sheriff.
Oh, that's hard to ego put in an awkward spot. Now Iceberg though, taking matters into her own hands, picking up both Izangi and Rudy. So now again, Rosie put at particularly difficult position here. It looked pretty good for a while there for Aresta, despite not having a lot of investment. But the timing works perfectly for Rosie, but not a second time there as Iceberg just capitalizes on the trade. A 3K as the Sova goes massive for Alter Ego. And so far, Zach, it's spanning out as we expected. I mean, Alter Ego, we've said it. We've laid out the facts, and the fact is, Alter Ego, this is one of their comfort maps, and you put them at this spot, at this, well, high momentum that they're having, so to speak, and you're gonna get a 4-0 game start.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why they're the reigning queens of APAC. In fact, I think they're ranked third globally when it comes to game changer teams. So they didn't get that reputation out of nowhere, and they're showing exactly why they are that way. And you know, again, you hear the chamber ult coming out, and it might be the difference maker. Again, for the side of ACL, Ayumi doesn't need more than the Sheriff, as he demonstrated. But Aneri is going to be punished for that excessive aggression by Rosie. But Ayumi, she's there for the trade. And again, this is the dynamic duo that propels AECO to the immense success they found. It is going to be Ayumi and Aneri. Sure, as a team, they perform really well. But the raw firepower on these two women, well, I've never seen anything like it, I'd say. Especially in APAC.
Here you go, though. The Ego finding a bit of resistance here as 2 of their members has already fallen. Inari and Ayumi have both bitten the dust so far, but they've still got a lot of control here with the controller being up and running. That's Oreo. And well, they've yet to decide which site they're actually going to commit at. 35 seconds is plenty of time to commit to any of these sites, especially with Oreo already taking control of a site so deep. Already made her way into the CT side, where
Izanagi seems to have
he's actually waiting for it. But it's Oreo who will secure that kill against Izangi. Beautiful shot right there off the snow peak. Now the retake commences 3 versus 3 here, Zach.
Yeah, it is going to be the retake coming on, and man, Oreo, I don't know how she got that because Izanagi was prepared for it. She expected it, but you know, Oreo just swings that and gets that kill. Noxy, she has the Blade Storm. Napsky will take down Yuki in the meantime, so that's the Reina offline here, and it's gonna come down to just Rudy and the chat here. But this is the thing, look at Navsky's position. I don't know if they expected it. She has the Fate Haunts back as well, so that is going to possibly spot out some of these players. The paranoia from Oreophilia is perfect. It's gonna tap both of them here, and Aceberg will take down Noxy. It's just one player left right now, Rudy in a 1v3, and Navsky's like, nope, that's not happening, as ACO go 5-0 here in this first match of this Open 4 playoffs.
Yeah. 5-0 here, Zach. And man, I just gotta say, the fundamentals here of Alter Ego Celeste are just shining across the board. I mean, it was a pretty rocky start of the round there. I mean, with Oreo claiming that space down in A all alone. And while Aresta had the right idea, they had one member, Izangi, positioned up in the defender side spawn. They were expecting that push from Oreophilia, especially because she had that ult up and running, but she didn't even need to use it because all she did was walk up, claim that space, and won the duel. It seems to me like it's such an easy job for these players to do. But this time, the Fox pushing up from behind. Will she get anything out of this position? With Ayumi keeping them in check, Noxy picks up Iceberg, and now the Hunter Fury has been called upon in response just to get that teammate out of there and dodge. Ayumi still dips back in, knows that she's got the firepower advantage, but Yuki just swings right on out, and now Alter Ego Celeste getting challenged out of this beautiful spot, and shots from Rosie as she picks up 2. Gonna leave Oreo now all alone. No dark covers anymore. No paranoia either. Means that she's not going to be offering up a lot of resistance as Aresta pick up their first round.
What a round that too, because you saw the attackers and defenders literally swap sides for a bit. I was a bit confused because I saw Ayumi down in sewers and everybody else there. I was like, wait a minute, we haven't swapped sides yet. That seems a bit off. And then I realized, yeah, it's just a really quick flank coming in from them, and it worked out. Some brilliant shots from Rosie as well as Nuki on that Spectre. Running gun always coming through. It is going to be the first round for Aresta, and this might be exactly what they needed to stop the bleeding. Economy still looking quite healthy for AECO, but it is also looking pretty good for Aresta here. So who knows? This might be the boost that they needed to try and make up the rounds that they've lost so far. And yeah, let's see if they can manage that.
Let's take a look at the ult economy though. 4 huge ones available for Alter Ego Celeste. The only thing that they don't have is a tour de force. But well, they're pretty plentiful in terms of firepower. But speaking of firepower, the Yumi just taps on Nuki's head, and that's, I believe, the 3rd round that Nuki won't be able to play in this game. So far, 3 rounds where she has been first blooded, not having the best of games at all. Go. Can they find the response here? Rosie down to about half health. Goes for the double dip. A little bit too zealous at that as Napsy picks him up. And Ayumi gonna secure that real estate against Noxy. A C site. Spike is already down. And nothing to retake with. Man, deficit here. Zenki opens it up beautifully though with a kill onto Ineri. And they're playing it the right way with Rudy's beside her. But man, it's just so much to deal with. So much utility against them. And the dark cover isn't even going to permit them any more space into this side. It seems like not. They're going to call it off. And they're just going to be securing these guns for themselves.
I mean, it's a 2v4, the clock is ticking. I might as well just save, especially when you do have the Hunter's Fury online on top of everything else. So it's gonna be Iceberg trying to do a little bit of economy damage, but Azunagi will take her down. Alter Ego Celeste can afford it. You know, they have managed to win so many rounds and their economy is pretty strong. So yeah, they do want to go on the hunt for these players, but thankfully for Aresta, Izanagi and Rudy's managed to hold on to those rifles here. So the rest of their team, they will be able to get a buy-in from what I can see here. And of course, Izanagi can also drop a gun or two if necessary. So yeah, it should be the case here. And ooh, Noxy in fact manages to get her hands on the operator. So this is a weapon that can definitely change how Aresta is looking so far, because if you know you don't clear out angles properly, it's gonna make things really rough, especially considering that the side of Alter Ego doesn't really have a flash agent available. They have Aureophilia on with the Paranoia, but that's not really it. That's about it. So it might be exactly what Aresta need to make the difference.
Perhaps. But they've got so much utility to work with, though. They even got a raise just for good measure. Perhaps that's enough to compensate on it. And, well, for the most part, I would argue that Alter Ego don't even need the utility. They're just going for these fights almost dry. Semi-dry, that is. Spiral gets spotted out, but she still wins that fight against Izenki as well. What a double swing there, and she's still double dipping in 76 health. She's already claimed that space, but Alter Ego Celeste! They're just going to town with the kills. And Neri with the most in this round for the 3K. And now Rudis is scratching her head. What does she do now?
I think it might be time to save the rifle yet again for poor Rudy's. I swear, watching that from a Neri's point of view, it looked absolutely insane. Like, you see her take chip damage from Yuki, but she doesn't care. She's just gonna swing that, gets that kill somehow, gets another, gets a 3K off the round somehow. That is absolutely insane. You know, she's had a showstopper for a while now. I don't think I've seen her even use it. She's just like, yeah, I have a rifle, I'm just gonna swing and get these kills, and that's exactly what she's doing so far. The confidence coming in from not just her, but the rest of Alter Ego, it really shows you know, their experience as well as you know, the amount of confidence they have while playing Haven. Not just Haven, honestly, any other map, but this map especially, they seem to be quite gregarious about it.
I mean, that's exactly what I was talking about as well, right? Inari didn't even need flashes to go for all those fights. All of those were dry peaks, and now Rudy denied by anything, as guess who got that kill? Inari as well for the 4K. And See, this is one of the things that I would attribute to, well, the double duelist essentially for Aresta. There's a reason why the double duelist meta, especially the one where you've got Arena um in the composition with the Jet, is falling off, is because there's just a sheer lack of utility with it. I mean, that's the reason why people have been opting more and more for the Chamber in replacement of something like a double duelist comp with Arena in it, is because Chambers got free guns, and of course, it's got that trademark as well, albeit it has been already nerfed. It's just so much more than what Arena has to offer, especially when she's not really having the best of games, as is the case right now with Nuki. Now, again, Aresta starts off a bit lopsided with one member falling down. Not even able to trade it out as Ophelia goes huge once more, gets pushed up from behind, and there you go, Newbie finally gets that real estate that she's been looking for all game long. But is she going to find more out of the Empress? It's 2v4 here, Zach.
She does manage to get one though, so it's going to be 2v3 right now. Rosie gets another as well, so that is going to be 2v2. It seems like the retake is on here. Napsky though, she takes down Nuki. That's the Empress offline. Just Rosie left right now, and she's gonna be caught reloading. And Iceberg is gonna wrap around and take her down for a second. It looks so promising for Aresta. And I think Nuki heard you there, Matt, when you said she's not having the best of games. She does manage to get a 2k to show for it, but it's gonna be yet again another round for Alter Ego here. And I feel really bad because they do have those ults available. Aresta does have the lockdown, but they're never in a good position to be able to use that or the From the Shadows from the Omen.
Yeah.
So it's just the pushes coming in from ACL are so fast and so clean, and they always leave ACL at an advantage. So they always have to start off on the wrong foot, like you mentioned. It is going to be a 4v5 or a 3v5 retake, and after that they just lost too much ground to make up for it. But this round it's going to be Nuki who takes down Inari, and Rudy also getting down Iceberg. They get a bit too aggressive though, and Napsky and Ophelia punish them for it. It's going to be two. It's going to be just one player left right now. Just Rudy's again has that Vandal, but I don't know. I don't know what she can really do here. Does know that Napsky is possibly lurking around in spawn, but it seems like unless a miracle happens, it seems like Alter Ego is going to make it to a 9th round. Ooh, hello there. That's gonna be Napsky going down. 1v2 right now, still doable. Does have the ult as well as a full utility kit. So I don't know. Let's. I really hope Rudy's manages to clutch this up because it will be quite a feather in her cap and a much needed round for Aresta.
Let's see. Second attempt at a clutch here. This is a little bit more doable. 1 versus 2. 2 dark cover. Oh, well, all of her utility available to her. But first contact here is, well, both of them on the double angle setup here for Ayumi and Ophelia. Are they going to go for the push here? They put up the rendezvous out, and Rudy's not even gonna go for that attempt. Well, she knows she's got to save up this gun because, well, the eco is not at the best of states right now for Aresta. And they had the right idea there, right? They pushed up in Garage. They got 2 kills from the get-go, but the over-aggression from Nuki and Izengi, they both double-dipped, and they both fell despite getting the early advantage. And Aresta really have just been falling short of these attempts of getting back this momentum that they've lost all game long. 1-9 here. And, well, the only remaining hope that they have really is to take us into the 3-9 scoreline. And silver lining, though, Zach, at least they've got the guns this time.
They do have the firepower at least, and I don't know. So far, it seems like they have to be feeling mental low here because the pressure here. Because when you're lacking 8 rounds behind, it's gonna make things really rife. And oh my God, those are 3 ults, 2 ults popped in succession. The showstopper as well is going to be falling, but Aresta is wary. They've fallen back far enough, and the Hunter's Fury will come through from Izanagi here, trying to get some damage in, but won't catch anybody. Unfortunately, it is going to be a full-on 5v5 retake, and Inari is the first point of contact they have to clear here. The lockdown will come through as well, but they are checking it. She'll see almost gets 2, but Rosie with that flick is gonna keep things from getting really insane here. Nuki getting another, but Ophelia and Ayumi trading out. Ophelia, how are you doing that on site? Gets 1, 2, 3 kills in quick succession with that Phantom. Insane plays coming in from her, and I don't know how Alter Ego does it. Like, sure, you can say Inari is one of the star players that they have when it comes to firepower, but every single member of the team, when they're in a position where they have to clutch it out, they usually do manage to clutch it out. And in fact, I think Alter Ego has one of the highest clutch rates in this tournament.
so consistent alter ego Celeste. I mean, it's just the experience coming through. I mean, it seems like no matter what position you put them in, they're gonna be able to squeeze a win out of it. And perhaps the play right now for Aresta is not anchor into side. Perhaps this is what they should do. Go for the retake instead. And exactly that's what they're doing right now with Alter Ego Celeste investing a lot of that utility just to clear out the site. This is looking good for them, especially because they traded out that trademark right there. But Iceberg is gonna spot one member out. All of them now with the noise being made. Can Iceberg take care of all of them? She picks up one, and Nary's good for there as well. And Nary just goes to town for the 3K now, and now again, Rudy's
Oh
for
no.
the third attempt on the clutch, but with an op in hand.
Oh,
What can she do? She gets rid of it.
Let's play.
Oh
Oh.
no, the hunt.
That's
is
the
gonna
challenge
be the
coming
last round in the Yumi to close out the round. 11-1 and Alter Ego Celeste. Just
Switching sides.
Iceberg
I like
that sinks
I
the
like Ayumi
Titanic.
pulling out her tour of the force there.
Yeah.
It's like she realizes, oh, you have an op, I have an op too. Let's see who's is better and bigger.
Yeah.
And yep, that's Ayumi coming out on top there. 1-11 going into the second half. And I don't know, Matt. I think things look really rough for Aresta. They have a very, very long way to go if they want to make a comeback. And that starts with winning this pistol round that's, gonna be starting out here. So looking at the plays coming in from Alter Ego so far, what do you think of their agent picks and how they're playing so far?
I mean, taking a look at both of their agent comps, right? I mean, Aresta, of course, has a massive deficit when it comes to the utility, the availability of utility alone, and that's really is just one of the drawbacks of having a double duelist setup. I mean, we saw it right there. Aresta have been turning up with a lot of these strategies. They've been trying for retakes, they've been trying for just the anchors and the lurks. None of it seemed to work because really, what do you opt for when you're 50-50 on a fight, right? When you're unsure whether you can win a fight, what do? You use utility. But that's the thing. Aresta doesn't have that option because they don't really have that utility to bank on. And because of that, their options really are limited more than it is on paper because at a backpedal position like this, there's not a lot you could do when you're just not winning these fights. It comes down to the wire.
Oh, definitely. And one more thing that you need to note is the precision with which AECO play. Whether it's entering into a site or whether it's like the quick decisions to make a rotation. It's insane. Like they're so well coordinated, and the synergy between the team is amazing. I mean, of course, you need to consider that all of these players have been playing together for a considerable time. I think the most recent addition was Napski a few months ago, and she seems to be fitting into the dynamic quite fine. So I think like you mentioned, all this experience does show, and it- even it's not just that they are running a better team comp. I would say it's that they know what to do with it, and
Yeah.
it's just so clean so far. Like the way they take the A side, for example. You have the ults coming in from the fade, you have the nade coming in on backside from the raise, you have the dark covers coming in perfectly timed to make sure that they don't fade away before they actually get onto site. All that utility and the post plant positions, we have to talk about this because you saw how they arranged themselves on C long. Yeah, one person jiggle peeking, one person peeking again. I feel really bad, but because we saw that from the point of the Aresta player there, the Killjoy, I believe, and yeah, it just looked really awkward. Like, who do I shoot? Where do I pre-aim? Where can I pre-fire? But yeah, I really have to commend AECO for the way they've been playing this so far.
Let's see though. While it is quite well, the odds are really against Aresta right now, but perhaps they can turn the tides around. Still very possible here, especially with the first frags going their way. Noxy picks up 2 quick quills with that frenzy clip. The plant now coming in, and now Aresta have put themselves in a pretty good spot. Ayumi though, she's got something to say about it. Not until Izengi picks her up. Now it's Inari making the noise. 1 versus 3 now. Ghost in hand picks up Rudy's to open up C site, and now both lurking members have to make their way back into sight. And the paint shells works beautifully for Inari. Now 1 versus 1. How has this round fallen apart for Aresta? But oh, Izengi reveals herself, but now the fuse now coming in.
Oh my
half
God.
now. Izengi will be able to close it out to clean up that round for Aresta, but oh, that looks so scary, Zach.
That looked absolutely scary, especially with Izanagi. You know, you see her you see her spot an area once, twice, and then finally takes a shot the third time, but misses unfortunately. So you know, honestly, I have to like. I want to ask Inari after this, like, A, how do you hit those shots, and more importantly, B, how much confidence do you have to stick the spike like that? She just goes for the half. She's like, yeah, it's okay. This person has a classic. They're spraying at me. I'm sure I could get half and then one tap them. I mean, it doesn't work out, but that kind of play confidence really shows, and it is going to be a full eco coming in right now from Alter Ego here. While you do have 3 rifles, in fact, coming in from Aresta, and this could be pivotal because even if they manage to lose one of them, if somebody gets a little bit too trigger happy or aggressive, it might be the difference maker here. But Noxie doesn't have anything to you know, stop her. She gets 1, but she's in a bad spot here. And Neri is gonna take her down. Gets 2 in fact with that Sheriff, and that's the Phantom drop. Spectre dropped as well, and this might be the bonus, in fact, not coming through for Aresta here, which might be devastating because that's going to be match point for AE Seal, and that's basically GG. A beautiful nade is going to do a little bit of chip damage to Izanagi, but she manages to stay alive, and the retake is on here.
Here we go, 11-2 on the board and everything on the line for Aresta. They invested everything into this round really, and so far it's working! Zengi to close out the round 3-11, and if there's anything they need at all to bounce back into this game here, Zach, this is it. They are doing it so far at least, but can they repeat it, what, 8 more times? Even 9 perfectly, just to take us perhaps into overtime? That is a question here because this is still a massive deficit, so to speak, but I gotta say, Noxie's found somewhat of a newfound confidence right there, pushing up so far, so deep, even into this defender side spawn. But that's the thing, right? Aresta, they found their new rhythm, but they don't have to be overzealous. They don't have to overcommit. Nuki now is the one who's stepping up, and she's taking control of B side.
Yep, she does manage to have it, and I think she knows Napski might be somewhere here. It's going to be who pushes out of the dog cover at the right time, and oh yeah, Nuki gets its timing. That's a 3K. She's on the ace here, trying to make sure that she gets at least this round for her team, which might be exactly what they need to make it work here. Yuri should be able to get down the spike on the A side as well, and that's the thing. The call coming in from the rest of her team, it's going to be the B side that Nuki takes, but the A side, which is nevertheless present. The Paranoia will hit Oriophilia, but she's nevertheless going to take down Noxie, but Nuki gets that kill as well, and it's gonna be a 4K for her. It's not an ace sadly, but Yuki has woken up, and she showed us exactly why Reina is so good here, because you know she gets 2 with that nice spray transfer on the Vandal. She manages to heal up again and gets the perfect timing onto Napski, and of course that last kill on Oriophilia is gonna be coming through as well. So honestly, she didn't heal much, but you know the fact that it was there and she was able to, she could have dismissed or, you know, repositioned. It just shows how good Reina is, and it's really an agent you want to pick up when you're feeling confident. And it seems like Yuki has finally rediscovered that, as they seem to be wanting to go towards the C site. Does pop that Empress with Inari! That shot with that Marshall is gonna put Noxie out of the game. Bye bye Noxie. That is you not playing this round anymore. So it's going to be a 4v4 as Oriophilia goes down. So let's see if Yuki can continue her rampage, as she does take down Inari. 1 on the board. Let's see if she can get more.
Rampaging on into C long, making the most noise possible, looking for the next target. That is Iceberg, but she's gonna rat on out into backside and want nothing to do with that Empress. Perhaps they're just waiting for the timer to run out on said ulti, but the plant now coming in from Aresta, and they're looking for all the members here. Nuki still has the Empress up and running. Another flick for her own life to actually nullify Nebsky now. So now Iceberg's all alone, coming in from CT, but there's no info coming in from, or there's no info on where she's gonna come from. But she doesn't have a lot of firepower to work with. But there you go, she gets spotted out.
Oh no.
Can she get out of this position? Nuki looking for the ace now, and is she going to get it? No! She gets denied by Iceberg, who looks to make some flair of her own, but finally gonna fall down by Izengi's Vandal. And now Aresta pick up their, I believe, 4th round in a row. And what is this newfound rhythm we're seeing from Nuki? She is just a different player from the first half.
I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that she's in attack. Oh, she's on attack that she's able to really capitalize on it. But I feel horrible
Maybe.
for her because this is the second round in a row where she has gotten the 4K here. You know how there are some players who are called like Mr. 4K. I think that Yuki might be Miss 4K for the APAC Game Changers series here because that's the second one in this match she's gotten, and she's gotten a few before. Like if you have watched, the side of Aresta go, she gets 4K so often it's actually
Yeah.
quite lamentable here. But either way, we are heading into the next round here. Ayumi
Oh.
finally having that money for that operator will be able to get Rosie right down immediately. Noxie taking down quite a bit of chip damage as well as she manages to dash into the site. Oriophilia somehow still staying alive here, especially with Noxie on the site. And Napski, she's here for the backup as well. So there is a player on the C site,
Uh-oh.
but
We're
I
so
don't know if they
close.
know her position, and it might be everything we need is Oriophilia. She takes down Yuki. Noxie getting the trade on Napski though, and if Noxie chooses to get a little bit too aggressively, she's gonna be paying for it. But Inari, 1-2, just one kill left to find, and the tap. Even though she knows she's set HP, she just goes for the casual headshot tap. That insane 3K is going to take AECO to match point here. I really want to see that again.
No. Oh my gosh. 30 health. She just goes ham with that Phantom. I mean, here's the thing, right? Aresta, they've been having a beautiful second half here, despite the scoreline, but it seems to me like that it requires Nuki to pop off, and when she doesn't, the rest of it just seems to crumble. I mean, we saw it right there. It was a 1 versus 3, and they couldn't even take care of Inari. And now that brings Alter Ego Celeste into the match point where there really is no room anymore to work with for Aresta. You have a couple of ults to work with, yes, but can they keep up with the consistency that they've been showing up with the second half? It's all gonna boil down again into Nuki's performance. Thankfully, she dodges that rocket like by just an inch. 1-for-1 trade so far. Again, it's a C-side hit for Aresta, but Alter Ego Celeste, they've already voted down here with one lurk coming in from from B side actually. Plant coming in, everyone already down here. No smokes anymore. Courtesy of Oriophilia falling down means that it's just a massive deficit right now for Aresta, especially with all of them getting mowed down by Iceberg. And there you have it, the first game going the way of Alter Ego Celeste.
It is their map pick. They continue to be undefeated on Haven here at ACO. They are gonna take it 13-5. But something you said, Matt, it really hit me like that. You said it's a 3v1, and you need to remember it's a 3v1 against Inari. This is the woman who popped to Bladestorm, who managed to clutch a 1v4 to keep her team alive. So I don't think you can ever say it's just Inari. If you have to make me choose to play against 3 other people who I don't know, and 1v1 Inari, I'm gonna pick the 3 other people. I don't know about you, but Inari is just terrifying. And again, she proves why on this map. But that last round, Iceberg, like, I don't know. Those shock darts were so precise. To be fair, Inari did manage to soften them up a bit. She managed to hit 1 for 140 and also do quite a bit of damage to the second player. But nevertheless, that shock dart, 1 shock dart, 2 kills.
Yeah.
And that is going to be Ultra Ego Celeste taking the round off of that.
I mean, that last round could have panned out very differently if it wasn't Aresta's Omen that fell down in that post plant. Scoreboard here showing 13-5, but it was, I believe, 11-1 in the first half, right? Going into the scoreline, such a valiant effort for Aresta to bounce back. And a lot of it is because Nuki has become online in the second half. So perhaps that is the key thing that Aresta has needed for this entire series to bounce back, because we still have another game coming up, and of course we're going into Aresta's map pick, which is Icebox.
Definitely. And like you mentioned, well, AECO, they haven't lost on Icebox yet. If you look at Aresta, their Icebox isn't quite bad either. They have like a 60% win rate. And like I mentioned, their team comp is something that AECO might not be able to counter. When you're running up against a double initiator, them being Sova and Fade, along with the Chamber, Viper, and possibly the Reyna as Nuki. Nuki doesn't play anything except Reyna unless it's like Bind or something. But apart from that, fun fact, if they are going to be
Yeah.
running something like that, maybe they might catch Alter Ego by surprise. It's unlikely, but it's definitely a possibility. And I think how you've seen that meme, right? Like how IGOs are like the best strat in the game is X player go kill. I feel like whoever the IGO for AECL is, that's her strat, like Inari go kill. Inari go kill. That's what I got from the second half of this map. Inari just going and farming like it was deathmatch. Honestly, you saw her. She had the showstopper for like 3 rounds, 4 rounds, and she was like, "Nah, I'm just gonna kill them with a rifle. All good."
I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about Nuki, right? Going into the second half. I mean, the first, what, 3 rounds or 4 rounds, Nuki's already gotten two 4Ks under her belt, and it's a very different look from what you showed us from the first half, and a look that I would love to see here in Icebox. But before we go into that, folks, we'll just be having a short break. My name is Adam, casting here today with Zach. You're still watching the Game Changers APAC Open for Stage 1 playoffs, and stay tuned because we'll be right back. Welcome back, folks, to the VCT Game Changers APAC Open for Stage 1 Playoffs. Day number 1. This is still the classic tale of David versus Goliath, and the Goliath being alter ego Celeste. Now, the question is, will Aresta step up to the plate to their humongous opponents?
I mean, it is their map pick, and they probably have some kind of strategy in mind. The fact that they picked it because, like you mentioned, it is another map that AECL is really good at. To be fair, AECL is good at most maps, but Arista, nevertheless, they have some interesting strategies. They do have some interesting agent comps when it comes to Icebox, and
Mm,
I think that this might be exactly what they need to try and make a comeback here because if they can catch Ultra Ego Celeste off guard, it might be the difference they need to make, especially considering they're starting off an attack here. And the comp that they usually run on Icebox with Reyna, Fade, and you know the like Sova Chamber, etc. It might be exactly what they need to get enough rounds on attack here. And if they can get that initial advantage, it might be huge going in for them in the second half.
Yeah, I like the idea here, right? I mean, they're going for the double initiator, and it's such a contrast to what they had in Haven, where they had very, very little utility to work with. This time they have so much. Sova into a fade is really into a sage actually as well is really a lot of utility, a very different look, a very different composition from what they had earlier. But the thing is, I'm not particularly sure about the Icebox Fade pick. I mean, yes, Fade is a very, very solid initiator right now. Very good in maps where, well, there's a lot of lineups for her. But the key thing here is that Pont doesn't have that range that Recon Bolt offers. So I am not sold yet. That's what I'm trying to say here, Zach. But well, Icebox is one of the strongest maps as well for Alter Ego Celeste. I mean, in terms of agent comps, this is a map where they've already figured out what they want to use as well. For the most part, it's pretty standard. They go for the Sage, Chamber Sova, Viper into a singular duelist that is a Jet, but we've seen them make it happen in work. We've seen them made it work in Haven earlier. That's the standard comp. So wouldn't be surprised if they do as well this time.
Honestly, they might be so confident that they do sometimes run a double duelist on this map. You have seen them with the Jet and the Reyna, along with the Shade, Sova, and Viper. So perhaps we'll see that composition coming in as well. I would be really excited to see that because their odds are they're gonna put Inari on Jet yet again, and we can see how she goes here. So heading into Agent Select, so far it seems like ACL, all of them want to play duelist. You see them hovering over Yoru. I feel very very sad because whenever people do hover over Yoru, I would actually like to see some Euro gameplay, but it's always a clickbait, so it just breaks my heart just a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So in the meantime, though, Navsky and Rosie, both the Viper controllers, have decided to stop messing around
Yeah.
and pick their agent. And of course, Inari is going to be on Jet. Finally, you are seeing the picks coming in from AECL, and it seems like what they usually do opt for Iceberg on that Sova, and Ayumi opting to go in for the Chamber instead. They're feeling confident, but they don't want to be
Yeah.
overconfident. That's what their agent selection tells me, Matt.
I mean, Alter Ego Celeste, they are a team with four flex players. Apart from Inari, who always plays the duelist, well, basically all of their members do flex their roles. One of those being Aurophilia, of course, we saw on the Omen in the last game in Haven. Going for the Sage, I would expect them to lock this up because
Select
this is
your
what they
agent.
typically go for in the current meta. And of course, Nuki is going to be on that Reyna. So this is where things get particularly interesting for me for Aresta. They didn't go for the double initiator comp I was talking about. Instead, they opted for a chamber into Arena. This is very unusual in the sense that when you see a chamber, it's usually in replacement of Arena, but Nuki doesn't want to let go of that Reyna anytime soon.
Yeah, I mean, it is her favorite duel. It's like I don't think I've ever seen Nuki play anything that's not Arena. I'll be honest, especially in the recent matchups coming. And the thing is, she makes it work a lot of the time. The reason why it seems kind of lackluster right now is because they are against the reigning queens of APAC. So
Oh
it
yeah.
is a bit rough for her. But if she can get her groove and find her momentum, it might be exactly what Aresta need to take this map and possibly bring us to a map 3. So yep, it is going to be Icebox, and it is going to be Arista starting off an attack here. It's going to be a rough job though, because they only do have that single initiator, like you mentioned, Matt, and that's going to make getting into these sides so much more difficult, especially because, let's say you're pushing towards the A or the B side, it doesn't matter. You have to commit a lot of SOA utility to get in the first place. Like, you have to use your recon for the backside, perhaps. You have to use your drone for close angles in case somebody is playing a cheeky little judge there. So, once if you do decide to make the call to rotate, it's not going to leave much utility in the way of trying to take the second side. So rotations are going to be a bit rough with just one initiator on board here.
I mean, you did say that you did ask rather, Zach, if Nuki is gonna come online on the Reign. I mean, that is a question I would like to ask you. Do you think she is already online? Because perhaps that first game was just a taste of what Nuki can offer up on the Reina, especially now that there is no backup in terms of duelists for Aresta's side. I mean, for the most part, you don't like having Arena as a singular duelist because she doesn't have an escape tool for one if she doesn't get a kill, and she really doesn't have anything to get into sight to force her way into sight, much like a Tailwind or the blast packs from Raze, or heck, I would even argue that Yoru does a better job at that with the teleporter, despite you being right in the open when you go for the teleport. So that's the difficulty when you have Arena. But if you have Arena that's absolutely confident and popping off, particularly on Nuki's hands, it's gonna be a lot easier. So that's the question I'd like to ask you, Zach. Is she already online?
I mean, she does seem to be online in the second half, but the question is,
She
does
does.
that remain here? Maybe it's a
Mm,
question of attack versus defense. She had a bit of a rough time in the first half last game on Haven because they did start off on defense here. And while Reyna is still good on defense, it's not nearly as powerful as it is on attack here. So that might be one of the reasons why it was really, really tough for her to really wake up until the second half. But this time, she has everything she needs. She has her Reyna. She's starting off an attack here, and it is Icebox, a map where Arena with the Vandal who hits the shots can make all the difference because you're just gonna be able to dismiss and yeet out of there. So it might be exactly what Aresta needs. So I don't know. I have my fingers crossed. It still is a David versus Goliath battle, like you mentioned, Matt. And the question is, can the underdog win here? And this is Aresta's last chance here, because if they don't, there's gonna be no map 3 because ACL already won the
yeah.
first one. So they have to try and make this work. And let's see what they have in the back for us.
Nuki is the woman to watch right now. She slowly makes her way up into that B main angle. Of course, so default took him in. Actually, quite surprising here, Zach. But the push from Chub, Oreo just unaccounted for, and Eri picks up one as well.
One
So
enemy
from the
remaining.
get-go, Nuki falls. Ayumi good for 2. Zengi falls as well.
Flawless.
And
Oh.
oh my gosh. Just when you thought it couldn't get cleaner for Alter Ego Celeste, they start off the game with the flawless here, Zach. I mean,
Yeah. I think only Navsky actually took any damage there. That is going to be Ayumi online, and this is the thing. Like Ayumi, she used to be on a duelist before as well. They used to like swap around a bit, but ever since Chamber came out, it seems like the agent has been made for her, because Ayumi is one of those players who has what you'd call pinpoint precision, and that Chamber headhunter as well as the Tour de Force both are exactly what she needs in her playbook to try and make these plays happen. Either way, it is going to be the bonus coming in for the side of Alter Ego here, trying to do a little bit of damage as Inuri gets aggressive, but will have to fall back after losing most of her armor. And yeah, it might be exactly what they need, as Izanagi tries to push in off of that recon, but Neri, she gets one, or you feel like it's another. Neri gets two, in fact. Neri is just running a farming simulator here, because that Marshall, oh my god, that Marshall when you don't have armor is just a one-shot weapon, and Neri almost bullies Nuki there as she goes flying in the air and hits that shot with the Marshall.
second flawless in a row there. I mean, can't get any better as far as openers go here for Alter Ego Celeste. I mean, we did say just how comfortable they are in Icebox, which actually is quite a surprise to me why Aresta picked this map. I mean, it does makes a lot of sense from a statistical point of view. This is a map that they do pretty good, especially quite recently in Open 4, but have to dig deep here, especially with Nuki's Reina backing on the pop off. Okay, the headshot not really connecting, but the head! Ayumi spots Noxie's head, and now she's down.
Oh my god, that was unfortunate. I think she thought that it was invisible there, but
Oh,
nevertheless, it's gonna be the chamber going down. Rosie though will be able to get the trade on Ayumi here, but look at Yuki's position, almost all the way back to spawn here, as it's going to be Ineri who falls as well. Second Marshall offline, and Rudy should be able to get the plan. But look at Oreophilia, she sneaked her way all the way up on top of the box, and she might be able to do some damage. But Rudy's and Nuki, they are here to shut it down. Just Oreophilia left alone in a
oh,
1v3, and not much else is going to happen because with
yeah,
that superior vandal and a headshot, it's going to be Nuki who closes it
yeah.
out. Aresta getting their first round on the board, only losing 2 players in the process, which is honestly not bad. But this is the round which is make or break for them because they are going to be having that operator online from Ineri, and Ineri with the rifle is scary enough, but Ineri with an operator, especially if you're going to be trying to push into that B side, which is where she's going to be playing, is just plain terrifying.
Actually, have we seen Inari on an op today? I don't think so, because she was on the raids earlier, right? So
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not particularly sure. Oh, we did? Okay. Okay.
I mean,
Here we go again. Yeah.
if you've seen her play Chet enough, she does pick up that op. She doesn't do it often. It seems like she only does it if she
Yeah.
feels like it. Honestly, it's like a mood thing. But either way, it's gonna be Ayumi paying
Mm-hmm.
for that bit of excessive aggression there, as her counterpart Chamber takes her down. And meanwhile, Aresta, they're heading their way onto this A side here. Just Napsky left
Nuki.
in this corner. They have to clear it out, otherwise it's gonna make things really rough. And the question is, will Nuki look there?
Uh-oh,
And
Nuki.
it's gonna be the timing coming in, both these players somehow staying alive, spotting each other, but they are able to get the site here. That beautiful Viper wall giving them quite a bit of control. As Nuki
Oh!
gets that shot onto Iceberg, Izanagi takes down Napsky as well, and it's going to be just 2v4 right now. Things are looking really rough here. The resurrection too far away to be able to get for comfort's sake, and Nuki is the first obstacle they'll have to fight, and
Mm.
Oreophilia goes down. And Eri, she is a star player for Alter Ego, but with the lack of control and with the A side completely taking the clock ticking as well, I think she is just gonna be going in for the save on this operator.
Yeah, that was so awkward for a sector for Nuki when she spotted Iceberg emerging from that screens area. Almost basically dismantled their assault down in A site if she didn't get that swing off. And I'm loving this. Nuki is online. Okay. Izengi just wasn't ready for Inari being there. She did wide peek, but from such a long angle like that, there's really no wide peeking that when you're so far. But again, I'd like to point out Nuki. It seems like we got what we've been asking for here, Zach. She's on point. I mean, we did see a couple of swings in the round before the last, and it was very scary to say the least. So she's looking on point and already got the ult up and running, and she is claiming that real estate that Aresta so direly need without really investing a lot of that utility. She got those 2 kills, I believe, without even using the Leer. So this is a newfound confidence from Nuki that Aresta absolutely needs as they tie up the scoreline here. But Inari still got the op. So
Inari does have the
perhaps Aresta, perhaps Alter Ego is not done with this round. Noxy though.
oh, but
Well, scratch that. Op's gone.
Noxy says Optiv as she manages to pick up one as well, and that's going to be Ayumi though, who manages to save the operator for Alter Ego nevertheless. And Ayumi is pretty good with that operator as well, seeing that she does
Yeah.
play chamber. Rudy's though, she's gonna have the resurrection online here, as she does get the spike down. It's gonna be a 5v4 retake right now. Only Ayumi still having the op here, and it might be everything they need, because if they can get a kill or two, they might be able to pick up some rifles here. But the retake so far seems extremely dire for the side of Alter Ego here, especially with the 2 players towards mid. It's going to be one who gets spotted, but Nuki doesn't care. She's just gonna be like, yeah, I'm not gonna break the streak, and I'm just gonna peek and get Iceberg, and that is going to be the kill coming through. Ayumi as well with the miss onto the stage here, and she gets spotted as well. Noxy takes down Oriphalia.
Noxy.
It's just Ayumi and Napsky left right now. She has to try and save this op yet again. It's just gonna be Ayumi trying to save the op, running for her
Oh
life
no!
here, and it's gonna come down to timing. Can Yuki find her or not? Find her or not is the question. And yeah, she finds her. That's a 3K for Yuki, and Aresta taking the lead on this map.
Oh. She just wanted to save the op. Come on, Yuki. But let's take a look at this again. There just wasn't enough mouse space, I think, for Nuki to destroy that recon for the full 180. But she doesn't care. She swung right out and took care of Iceberg. And I love it. There's this confidence coming out from Nuki, and the wrestlers just riding it all the way down to their third round in a row now. And Alter Ego Celeste have been punished big time, picking up two ops that really haven't been very fruitful. Or just one op, actually. Really haven't
Yeah, I don't
been
think Yuki
very
picked it up.
fruitful. Yeah. Blade Storm, though, not going to be called upon by Inari. Instead, it's the aggressive angling, but Nuki inching her way from up above. There's two people down below her, and Inari's the first to fall. Iceberg's going to be there for the trade. Still awkward positioning here as Iceberg inches forward. She wants more, and she gets it. Again, she goes for the rip, but Zenki's just going to be better off with the swing on that Sova 1v1. Up in the hands of Noxy makes a resounding noise. But they can still rotate here, especially with Ayumi and Oreophilia now making their way into sight. The pincer move now, but they've got no info ones lurking in from behind. Roxy going for the plant. Oh, that's Oreo going down and Viper Spit being laid out. It's just too much for Ayumi. But can she weed out this Viper?
Question is, she doesn't know the positions of any of these players, so she has to play this really carefully. She has to wait for Aresta to possibly make a mistake here, and yep, that's her position known right now. She dives down, but Noxy is gonna catch her as she falls, and the fourth round online for Aresta here. They pick the op back up as well, so Noxy, she's gonna be chilling here. Meanwhile, though, ACO, they are gonna be pushed into an eco yet again. Aresta really proving their mettle here, and it seems like if they continue playing this way, that we are gonna be indeed seeing a map 3, which is
Oh,
going
yeah.
to be fantastic because I think the last time that these two teams have, the few times that they've faced off, it's usually been a 2-0 coming in from AECO. So definitely Arista showing a lot of improvement here, and Icebox, it seems like they finally found their footing to throw the rock that might take Goliath down to extend onto your meta format.
I mean, so far, Aresta seems like they've done their homework here, Zach. They're reading Alter Ego Celeste like a book, and this is not a look that Alter Ego is used to. Let's really force active though for Ayumi. Just a nick of time, turns away. It's Nuki. Down to 15 health. The Sword of Force finally makes waves across B site. Res being activated for Iceberg. It's quite curious that they actually used that in an eco round, but it kind of makes sense considering Nuki down to 15 health now. But oh, it takes a single bullet, but the Aldro and uh-oh. Is she still gonna peek? She is the operator! Oh, Yumi's gonna pick up Nuki, and that's a duelist gone for Aresta.
That is another rifle that they managed to pick up, so it might be all the difference. But Ayumi! That's a no-scope, I think, as she takes down Rosie there. 2v5 right now. Izanagi and Noxy somehow have to salvage this round here. But so far, I feel like it's pretty unsalvageable here. Never mind. Noxy's going to correct me there as she takes down Oreophilia. She's just watching to see if anyone's going to be coming to pick up these weapons. Ooh, will spot Iceberg on the cross, but does not get the shot. And it seems like they are going to be opting to go in for this A site as well. They do have both their ultimates to work with here, but especially that Hunter's Fury might be exactly what they need to try and get a killer too. But it might not be enough here because ACL does have a massive numbers advantage. Ayumi, that's gonna be Izanagi down and the spike down. 10 seconds left on the clock, and it seems like Noxy might just go in for the save here with this operator. But the thing is, Inari on the flank does do quite a bit of damage. Noxy taking the 2 in fact somehow, but Napsky, she's finally gonna stop bleeding here, and ACL will win that Thrifty. We'll pick up the operator as well, and that is going to be round number 3, finally bringing things back in their favor, or trying to.
Yeah, almost 3-4 there off the back of a Thrifty is it's a feat to accomplish right there. It's no easy feat for Alter Ego Celeste. But I was saying earlier how Aresta obviously did their homework. Well, Alter Ego, they did theirs as well. They knew that the aggression was coming from mid, and they were so quick on shutting it down. No hesitation too. They immediately commit the res for the 4 versus 3, and well, the Aldrone usage just made it too much for Nuki to survive off that bout, despite having the Empress. So they accomplish 2 things off of that. They get out, they pick out Nuki, they pick out the Empress, and they shut it down the round in their favor. Now, Alter Ego Celeste, well, again, starting off a little bit on the disadvantage here, but not if Noxy loses this trade against Nabsky, but there's just no way. Oh, but Inari answers back though. 4 versus 3 now.
4 versus 3 indeed, as Oreophilia does take down Nuki there. Izanagi and Rosie left in a 2v3 right now, as that quickly switched around with those trades coming in. And Iceberg, she knows Izanagi's position here. Make that the rest coming through 4v3 yet again. It seems like Aresta does have a little bit of an advantage here. though, looking at the positions of ACO players, they are content to wait. And Ineri, if they are going to be hitting this first, if they are going to be hitting this A side, she is the first hurdle they will have to somehow clear, because we've seen Ineri in these angles before, and her
Yeah.
impact is just unprecedented. If you don't clear her, she's going to get at least 2 kills on the round. So
30
definitely the
seconds
biggest
left.
danger here is going to be her. The sound has been made, recon has been done. It's not going to spot out Ineri either, and she has her
Uh-oh.
dash ready to go. So Ineri, how many can you get is the question here. But in
Oh,
fact, will not
nothing.
get any, as she gets a little bit confused as to which player to take down there. It's still her on the side though, and there's no time left. Rudy's though will take her down, gets both in fact, and Izaneki will take down her Soa counterpart to close out the round. Aresta 5 rounds on the board now.
Yeah, Alter Ego really had everything banking on Inari there getting those kills. I mean, uh, the stage was set for Inari basically. She wasn't spotted out by the recon, wasn't cleared out either, but the moment she spotted out the barrel of the Sova above, she also got peeked by Rudy's, and by then she was just too confused for who do I shoot? And tailwinded out to safety, but it's too awkward of a position to bounce back from. But thankfully enough for Alter Ego Celeste, or rather just Inari for that matter, she's got enough in the bank for the buy. Same is not true for her teammates. Iceberg and Ayumi are the only two with assault rifles, albeit Ayumi on the Bulldog gonna TP on the way to safety, as Recon is going to force her out of that aggressive angle. Lear being activated now. Viper's wall is up as well. Hunter's Fury activated down from mid for Iceberg. Gets the tag off, but doesn't really stop the plan from happening as the wall about to go down courtesy of Rudy S. The plant now coming in.
And it's going to be Nuki who takes that Oriophilia as well. That's a stage offline right now, and that means no healing, no slows. Nothing is going to be coming in here, but Ayumi gets the trade onto Nuki, and that Reina being offline, Yuki being offline, more importantly, is going to, might be exactly what AECL needs here. In fact, she manages to get another with the Bulldog as Izaneki overcomes just a bit, but Inari is going to go down here, and Napski has that Viper's Pit as well. The thing is, both these players for AECL are really, really low here. Rudy swings onto them, and Napski is going to go down. That 6th round is going to be for Aresta, but for a second it looked really, really concerning there, Matt, especially when it became like a 3v2. But Noxy and Rudy's both hold their ground, and especially that aggression swing coming in from Rudy's is exactly what's going to win them the round. And it's really interesting to see how Aresta is playing this. They are trying to get that first pick somehow on any of the ACO players, and then pushing based off of where that is. I don't think we've seen a 5v5 so far here coming in for the side of ACL. They've always been at a bit of a disadvantage when the retake attempt is coming in, and that makes things a bit rough. Noxy ready to break that recon, but isn't really going to be a big issue here, as the Viper's Pit will come through as well. So A side is going to be even more hard to take. Nuki seeing if she can spot anybody through it, and this Viper's Pit is really annoying to play around as well. But you know, she is going to spot Inari, but Inari gets that headshot somehow.
Huge.
That's going to be first blood coming in for AECL, exactly what they needed to try and make this round work here.
It's absolutely massive there. It was Nuki to fell as well, and Alter Ego Celeste capitalizing off of that momentum, breaking off from Aresta. Noxy on the op though, hoping to keep Ayumi in check. If she comes out of the tube area, Noxy is gonna be all ready for it, unless she comes out swinging right now. Iceberg's right there as well, so Noxy really is at a very, very good spot here. She doesn't get the shot off. A pivotal one at that, and Iceberg will be punishing her so quickly. They used the res, quite curiously so, and not on Nuki as well, so really, it's a desperation play to come out right there for Aresta, as they get mowed down one by one, trying to push up the Viper's Pit. This is not the best idea right now. Zengi has the ult up, yes, pushes up above in pipes, but they hear him. They know where he's gonna come from, and there he's just gonna go for the spam. Teammate's already down, Rudy's falls, and Napsy's gonna shut it all down for Zengi. 6-4 now, Alter Ego Celeste, they stop this momentum.
Oh, that Viper's Pit was beautifully played from Napski, and Neri, like, you saw Neri getting, like, alert to see that somebody might be pushing up, on top there. She gets one pick, immediately falls back down because she knows that the side of Aresta is probably going to be trying to use that Sova util to get Napski out of position and gain some space. She manages to capitalize on that and help them get some kills as well. So it's exactly what they needed to try and get the momentum back from Aresta, stopping them in their tracks. The eco still looking healthy for both these teams, so we will be seeing full buys coming in, and it's gonna be Ayumi playing aggressively. She is that chamber, can afford to do that, and it's gonna spot out two players playing super aggressively towards this B main here. The Hunter's Fury will be invested by Izanegi, but I don't think it's gonna be catching anybody here, as both these players manage to stay alive. A little bit of damage is taken by Oriophilia, but she manages to get herself back to 100 HP. They seem like they want to go for a full-on B execute here. No
Yeah.
defaulting, no Suri on this round, as they make their way, already having control of yellow, and it seems like they are, they should be planting pretty soon.
Yeah, Resta really are taking things up a notch. The wall gets denied by Rudy's, and there you go, the trade coming in. Nuki will be able to pick up Iceberg, yes, but the spike is now in the open, right where Alter Ego Celeste wanted to be. Thankfully for Ares, they will be able to retrieve it, but at the cost of Nuki sacrificing her life. Are they going to commit to this B site now that they're 2 members down? They've already invested so much into this site. Perhaps maybe they should just go for the rotate. But no, they're gonna stick to it. Head gets spotted out. Rosie will be shutting down Ayumi. And now the post plant commences here, Zach. Are they gonna be able to hold the line here? Aresta against Alter Ego Celeste. Oh, and there he goes, massive. The swing onto Rosie, but in the nook and cranny, Noxie hides! And she picks up 2, looking to be bigger, but Napski to shut her down. And that's it. Alter Ego Celeste, when the smoke clears, they're the ones to come out on top.
They do get the 5th round on the board and are on their way to equalize the scores here. Again, the eco still looking fairly healthy for both these teams. And looking at the ultimates available, Eri has that Blaze Storm yet again. Meanwhile, I think that Noxie does have the Tour de Force. Even if she can't afford an operator conventionally, she is going to be able to have it in her pocket along with a rifle probably. So it's going to be double trouble. We saw some insane shots coming in from Noxie. She's been aim diffing both Ineri and Ayumi here on the chamber, and definitely she's woken up this map. Like we talked about Nuki, but we haven't talked about the rest of her teammates. And Noxie, she's finally here to play as she pulls out that operator. She does want to play. I don't know if the other side does though. And Ayumi, she's gonna say nope. You got me once, you got me twice. It's not happening the 3rd time here as she takes her down. First blood going to Alter Ego. Aresta, sorry. Never mind, Alter Ego. I'm sorry. Small
Alter
confusion.
Ego. I mean, I'd be confused too, Zach. This game is just so close. It's not what we expected at all, given the statistics that we were shown. But hey, Aresta have come to play, and I really like how they're playing to get to this point. They are isolating these fights for both Nuki and Noxie with the sheer amount of utility that they have. But now Nuki's gonna have to take matters into her own hands once more, with Noxie falling first, and the operator still unknown from Ayumi, now pushing up Iceberg. There's no clue that Rosie is right around the corner. Oh, the timing works perfectly for Iceberg. She stays alive for now, with Nuki just waiting with open arms down from yellow. It's so easy for her to get the shot, but there's another one to come out. Oriophilia gets the shot and the rest, so now it's a 5 versus 3.
The trades are quickly coming through though, and it's going to be a 2v4 right now. Aresta trying to get the spike down, and Iceberg, she's going to swing. Tries to swing anyway, but, Izanagi manages to keep her teammate alive. Ayumi though, she's going to take her down, gets one, but Napski's there for the trade, and ACL looking a little bit rough initially, but they do manage to close it out 6-6 here. And this is the thing, they're going to be on attack right now, so whatever plays you saw coming in from Yuki with their aggression, it's going to be just as bad with Ineri on the attack here on the Jets. So I don't know. I think that it's looking a little bit tough for Aresta even after they managed to get that score of 6-6 on the first half.
I mean, you could absolutely see Aresta. They knew what Alter Ego Celeste wanted to do on the defense, because it seems like they were, for the most part, ready to take control of site, and the post plant was a little bit 50-50, right? But when it comes down to it, after some time, Alter Ego Celeste is always going to adapt. When it comes down to it, the fundamentals are going to shine, and, well, the fact of the matter is, as the last game has shown, Alter Ego Celeste really has got that down to the wire. They're just so good when it comes to these 1 versus 1s that Aresta have to use their utility and their comp to their advantage, which they've been doing pretty well off, but perhaps they have they claimed enough scoreline here, Zach, going into the second half? That is the question.
It certainly is a question, but we're going to be seeing that in a minute or so. So I'd like to talk about some of the rounds which we saw from Aresta, and especially the plays coming in from Noxie on the chamber. Like I think last game she was having a bit of a rough time starting off, but this game, man, was she in form. She just peaked with the operator so many
Oh
times, and
yeah.
she pre-aimed those angles so impeccably. And I think quite a few times she managed to get the first blood onto Ayumi or Ineri with that op. So definitely proving that if you do have enough money to get an op for Noxie, she might be exactly what you need to make the difference. And you saw that coming in this half. Once the operator was dropped from the side of Eneri, she did manage to pick it up and absolutely rampage, go on a rampage. That's the only word for what she did there for Alter Ego. So is it's gonna be Alter Ego now on attack though. So I'm really looking forward to how Eneri is gonna be playing here because again, you saw Eneri on the
Yeah.
Rays, but Eneri on the Jet is just a study in precision and gorgeous movement, and I am really excited to see if she can bring that to this matchup as well. Who am I kidding? She's probably gonna bring it up. I have no bias for teams here, but I am just a little bit of an Eneri fangirl, in case anyone hasn't noticed here. So yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what kind of thunder she's gonna be bringing into this match.
I mean, all of our players here are absolutely talented, and of course, Aneri being the dedicated duelist, the signature jet on the reigning queen side. I mean, there's a reason that she is. That her team has got so much trust on her leading the charge here, and she's definitely showcasing it. She's so consistent when it comes to these fights that it's the second game in a row that she is top fragging. I mean, I'm not surprised at all. At this point, nobody will be. But here's the thing though for Aresta. They've done a lot of work to get into the equal scoreline, yes, but everyone knows that experienced teams showcase that experience on the attacking side, especially in big maps like Icebox, where you can get particularly creative with the way you attack things. And now, not really that creative. 4-1, one lurking down, holding the line down in mid as they take control of site and they take control of Rosie and Izengi. And quick TP back onto safety.
Oh
Ayumi
no.
spots out one more! What? Under the ramp!
that
What?
that gap through the ramp is always an awkward place to clear out, and I think Noxie did pay for that just a bit here. But this wall, when I saw it from the stage, when I saw it from Oreophilia, I was a little bit concerned because there was a gap, but it seemed like it was just a bait because it was going to be the kill coming in from an area who was just watching that angle, and they are going to take it almost flawlessly. Sure, they lose one player, but in the large scale of things, especially considering that they also managed to get the plan, it's everything
Yeah.
that AECO could ask for. It is going to give them this bit of a bonus buy as well. Inari is going in for her custom Marshall, while the rest of them, it seems like they're going for Spectres. Ayumi still deciding whether she wants to buy anything because she is the Chamber. She does have that Headhunter, and she has hunted heads with it. The previous round, I think she got a 3k off of it. So definitely, AECO looking very, very strong here going into this round. And again, the aggression coming in on B Long. There's just the five women running down B Long here. There's no
Yeah.
defaulting. There's no getting control. There's nothing. It's just them running down the
There's
B
no
side.
strat.
Already spotting out one chamber will be forced to TP back here, and the spike is going to go down. 5v5 retake right now. Inari already taking down Noxie. Make that a 4v5. Just spamming through the smoke as both Nafsky and Inari taking down these players with absolutely no compunction here. The shotgun doing a little bit of damage as well. Inari struggling just a little bit. We'll get the heal and we'll fall back, but it seems like this round is going to be AE sealed as well, with Rosie being caught off a flawless to boot. So yeah, that is going to be Pistol, and the next round coming in for ACO. This is the round that really matters though, because you are going to be having the full buy. The next two rounds will decide Arista's fate here. It's going to be really hard to come back if they do lose the next 1 or 2 rounds. So they do have the full buy. If they can capitalize on it and take enough players from not lose any players, sorry, if they can capitalize, win this round and not lose too many players, it's going to be exactly what they need going into the next round and the rest of this map.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Aresta, they can't afford to lose these members holding the line down in these sites. So perhaps they should just not play at the tempo that Alter Ego Celeste is setting for them, but instead force them to play in their way. Speaking of that, they shut down Inari like that. Take control of Orange for now, with Nuki going nuclear, but doesn't get the 3-peat off of it, or Ophelia's gonna take care of her.
Round B.
Noxy 2 with
One
the
enemy
answer back,
remaining.
gets 2 from the get-go. Now it's down to Nabsky. Of course, let's pick up the upgrade, but what can she do with barely anything to work with apart from her gun? She's slithering her way back into B main, where well, there really is nobody right now, but there's a lot of angles to clear now. So very little time, well, a fair bit of time as well. 50 seconds left. And the first obstacle is, of course, going to be Noxy with 24 health. So all it takes is one bullet, really. But she has to swing fast. Otherwise, Noxy's going to be ready for it. And she doesn't. Noxy picks up the 3K. Easy headshot for the chamber. And the rest are back on the board, 7-8.
Yep, it is going to be 8-7. Aresta clawing their way back up. In fact, trying to get the lead back, and they only lose 2 players, which is relatively good. They are still going to be able to afford rifles going to this next round. But look at Ayumi; she is having that operator by coming in. So ACO, they are going all out. Guns blazing, quite literally, I would say, looking at the bike coming in for them. So yeah, they are trying to make the most of this attack round here, as Ayumi, she's going to be peeking from on top of the belt, seeing if there are going to be any players trying to peek her here with the rifle. You do see players often playing that headshot angle or towards rafters, but it is going to be Aresta trying to play a little bit chill here. 3 players, in fact, on the site for them, so it might be pretty massive if they don't clear out these major angles. And again, there's just 5 women rushing it down. They do have Nafsky watching for any kind of flanks here, but look at the patience from Ayumi. Spots one but misses, a rare miss. Inari will get the trade though, even as Oreophilia goes down, but the spike is dropped, and this might complicate things just a bit. I think they also had to fall off the stage wall, so the A side has been lost control of, as they should be able to get the spike down. 2 players towards the backside though. If they decide to peek this, they might be able to take down Iceberg here, but Ayumi is there for the backup, and she's gonna take down Rudy's. That's gonna be a 4v3 retake, as Yuki takes an Inari, making it a 3v3 here, and they are in fact going really aggressively. Noxy gets 1, Iceberg gets a trade, but Yuki's there for the trade yet again, and gets that kill onto Ayumi as well. That's gonna be the defuse coming through, and Aresta equalizing scores here, proving that they are not messing around. They want this, and they are doing their best to get it.
Yeah, exactly. When we saw it right there, Aresta, they play at their own tempo, not let their nerves get the better of them. This is the result. They can absolutely fight toe to toe with Alter Ego Celeste. They just have to not let it get into their heads. Like perhaps if they lose a couple of members here and there, they somehow it seems like they lose their footing on what they're supposed to do. But the fact of the matter is, if they just hang on to their wits and play to their utility, play with them, play with each other, play along their teammates, it's a much more doable job if you think about it. Now that we're back into 8-8, the scoreline is even, but the bank really isn't. But the ults are going to be there for both Inari and Ayumi. The Blades and the Tour de Force both active. But can Noxy hit her shots? She is pummeled away by the Owl drone, but she's gonna double dip here against all utility against her. Iceberg gonna pick up Nuki. The Blades not really hitting its mark for an area. She gets punished for it. And Alter Ego Celeste, they still get the spike, or the sight off of that. Most likely it's 5 versus 3 now.
Yeah, that looked really awkward for a second. I think Inari, the last thing she equipped was her life, so it is gonna be the melee weapon coming back instead of the classic. A little bit unfortunate, but no harm done, because 2 players are down for Resta, and they also managed to get the resurrection. So everybody has a gun. Everybody is playing full squad quite perfectly. And Iceberg already spotting out Isnik. He does a lot of damage there, and yep, it's gonna take down 1. Rudy's will finally get the trade though, and it's all down to Rudy's. Left him does 1v4. But nope, Inari is going to get the trade even as she takes down Ayumi. And honestly, Ayumi going down for AECO, that's not even bad, because she was playing purely off of her tour de force there. And she can still afford to full buy this round. She also manages to pick up that operator from last round from Noxy. So it is going to be the side of Aresta, pushed into a little bit of a broken buy here. Sheriffs and pistols all around. And they have to try and capitalize on this. Noxy does have that tour de force though, so it might be the difference maker if she can get a pick or 2 off of it. It might swing the round into Aresta's favor.
Yeah, Neri and Ayumi definitely showcasing there the power that the Jet and the Chamber offers when it comes to these eco rounds. They barely had enough money going to that, but again, Chamber taking the stage by storm here. But this time it's Noxy's turn in the spotlight. Nabsky falls, so it's the controller gone for Alter Ego Celeste, so perhaps now is the time to strike for Inari. She's inching forward against the enemy Viper's wall, but it's a crossfire that she doesn't want anything to do with for now. Stage wall gonna be there in response. Plant coming in from Oreophilia. Likely enough, that one kill from Aresta hasn't been rewarded by an upgrade, but he's swarming the site now. Two members coming in from behind. Tour de Force still active now, so they have to be really careful where they peek here. And the first contact is gonna be between Iceberg and Nuki. It's Iceberg who wins that. But there's another one coming in from behind. Iceberg might not be ready for it. There's a noise being made down into A. But Yumi, he has to take matters into his own hands now. Oh, Tour de Force still active from Noxy coming in though. And they're not ready for this, but she's the only one coming in from behind. Rudy picks up Ayumi, and from Nest, the last one standing, Iceberg. Does she have it in her to go for the clutch? And no, she doesn't. Noxy from behind. Oh, she gets all kills, but she's not gonna get to the defuse. And that's still the round going in the way of Alter Ego Celeste.
I love that play coming in from Iceberg. The patience to not swing out when the rest of your team is fighting. That is absolutely gorgeous. And that is going to be what wins them the round. Like, yeah, they lose all the guns, but it's okay because they win the round, and that's exactly what matters. 10-8 right now. Alter Ego Celeste just 3 rounds away from victory. And this is arguably the last chance that Aresta has because they are going to have a full buy. But if they lose this, it's going to be Eco yet again. And it's going to be match point for AECL after that. So they have to win this try and keep the dream alive here. You know, there's their map pick, and so going forward so far, it seems like Alter Ego Celeste doesn't have a preference for any particular site. They are just, honestly, it seems like they're just switching. Like, yeah, we'll go A this round, we'll go B next round. Life is chill, all good, and that seems like how they're playing. It is gonna be the wall coming through from Rudy's, the recon also spotting out that there's at least one player towards yellow here, and Yuki barely gets away with her life there, and yep, nope, she's not gonna do that. In fact, Inari will take her down. Oreophilia taking down Rudy's as well. The momentum from AECL is almost impossible to fight against. Izanagi trying to keep things alive as she takes an Inari. Rosie gets Ayumi as well. That's gonna be a 3v2 right now. Very much doable, but they have the Viper's Pit and they also have the Hunter's Fury, so they have to be fast if they want to make this retake work here.
Zengi and Rosie really have their work cut out for them. Recon Bolt to work with, but Iceberg, sorry, is gonna hide in the nook. Oh, but Rosie! X-ray vision spots out Iceberg's head. Even still a massive task at hand here. Izengi spots out another. So it's now down to Nabsky, who will fall in the hands of Rosie. How did they just save that round with barely any info? What?
I think, Matt, have you heard of the phrase "Senor Vac"? Because that is a senorita vac if I ever saw one. I don't know what Rosie, did she just fire that bullet to, you know, with the prayer to clear out that corner? I don't know what it was, but that headshot onto the Sova there is gonna be what nets them the round. That's the Hunter's Fury offline. And you know, while the side of Aresta deserves all kinds of commendation for that beautiful retake, it was also just a tiny bit misplayed by AECL. I think the excessive aggression, especially from Iceberg when she has that Hunter's Fury, it doesn't seem like the best idea. Nevertheless, it is going to be AECL in the eco here. They are going to have the Resurrection online, and we saw what happens when they have the Res offline, even in eco in the previous half, so they might still be able to make it work. Again, this time they're showing a little bit more patience as they push into this A site, and yep, it's gonna be Inari getting that first frag, one away from the Blazestorm, and yep, she's gonna pull it out after those double headshots, gets 3! Inari, what are you doing here? Gets 3 kills, and she is gonna be still pushing forward, gets the 4th, but no ace. Noxy finally taking her down, and yep, it seems like this round is more or less closed up as well for AECL, especially with Oreophilia having that resurrection. I don't know if she's gonna do it. I would think about doing it. I swear, like I would think about just saying, you know, let me get an Inari backup so she can get her ace. But Inari, I am speechless.
Sheriff in the hand as well. It's the only thing she had going into this round. She didn't have the ult going into the round. It was a 2K that permitted her to have those blades. But now, Noxy's just scrambling for the hills. Alter Ego Celeste is just harvesting their crops, or so to speak, because it's the guns they're actually harvesting now. And off the back of a thrifty, Alter Ego Celeste secured their 11th round, and Aresta again in the back pedal of things. And it seems like they figured it out here, Zach. Alter Ego Celeste, what they have to do to take control of site is either swarm it, A, or have one of their members pop off, B, and past couple of rounds just it just demonstrated that. And there he goes massive with the sheriff, and round before that they all just pushed up, albeit the round didn't go their way because of the Viper spit back, as we mentioned. Look at this play
um,
though. It's so beautiful. 3 1 taps. And picks up Rudy's as well off the right click, almost getting a fourth, a fifth, an ace for that, but
it was
too good to be true.
it
Alter
was
Ego
really
Celeste.
sad because she was turning towards Noxy, and
Yeah.
if she had, I strongly believe that if she had one knife in her hand, she would have probably hit that shot. I'm willing to make that bet on a Neri here, but that round is going to get Alter Ego to 11, so close to match point, so close to finishing, and finishing this match to the series 2-0. And honestly, I'm still reeling from that round we saw from Aneri there. Like I mentioned, like ACL has individual talented players, but sometimes Aneri, she just takes words away from not just me, I think from everyone who's watching. I can see people watching this match with their mouths falling open and honestly just being amazed at the plays coming in. But this is something interesting that you mentioned, Matt. That there's tactics that ACL is using to take the site. So
Yeah.
I really, really like how they played that. Like they made almost no noise. They just walked through A, and the fact that Aresta is so used to hearing them like rampaging through
Yeah,
sites and just
rushing.
WKing, they caught them totally off guard there.
Yeah. I mean, who would expect Inari to just emerge with two nasty one taps, sorry. Nobody. But you know what else Arresto isn't expecting to be playing, well, 2 rounds behind this deep into game number 2. I mean, it was such a close game for the entirety of it. But now it's a completely different story with Alter Ego Celeste again taking control of the game once more. It's just a unfortunate turn of events right now for Aresta that really is hard to bounce back from. What are they gonna do here, Zach? They have the res up, yes, they have the Hunter's Fury, but fact of the matter is they don't have the momentum anymore, and that almost ace from Inari is certainly not gonna help their mental.
Definitely not. And more than mental or even like rounds, they don't have the money. Like look at the economy.
Yeah.
Sure, three of their players can't get rifles, but both Isnegi and Rosie, they are gonna have to play half armor and specters, or possibly sheriffs in full armor. It's not an ideal situation to be in, especially when the score is this close to match point, this close to Alter Ego Celeste winning it all. And Aresta, they have to really fight, like dig deep, find uh, some kind of inner strength here to try and take this going forward and make up this deficit and possibly take us to OT or even win 13-11. Like I wouldn't put it past these girls because the kind of
Yeah.
shots they've been hitting, the kind of play we've been seeing, it is definitely tier 1 for this tournament, and they've improved so much here. Like Arista, the fact that they qualified for in the top 8 for this for Open 4, the fact that their first matchup is against ACL, and even though they lost on ACL's pick, the fact that they're still almost so close to winning here, it's absolutely insane coming in from them.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta remember that Aresta is coming into this matchup with so much momentum, with such high hopes, because this is their best run so far. They've yet to drop a single game. I mean, arguably they did go into the semifinals, or rather in the playoffs in Open 3 as well, only falling short of the semifinals, losing to Orangutan. But really, they're having such a phenomenal run so far, only to be stopped in their tracks by, well, the biggest team in Game Changers APAC right now. I mean, certainly it's right. It's an honor to fight against Alter Ego Celeste, yes, for Aresta, but to come up short against such giants is it's not yet done, right, Zach? It's still 11-9. Aresta, they've won these backpedal moments before, so perhaps the time is ripe for them to do it again. But what tools do they have to do that, Zach? I mean, yes, they have the res, yes, they have a couple of guns, but it's so much pressure mounting on them.
Definitely, the pressure is on, and like I mentioned, Arista, they do have three players on rifles, so if they can get those first picks, they should be able to get some weapons for their teammates here, as long as they can play off those trades and manage to hold against the raw power of ACL, because that's what we've been seeing in these last few rounds. It's literally just a 5% rush down whatever side they're going for. They haven't even tried mid yet. It's just been A or B. Sure, you see Navsky watching for a flank sometimes, very rarely, but often it's just these girls rushing into sight and with all the confidence in the world, just aim coming. And this time it's going to be Ayumi who is watching the flank. And they are indeed going towards the A side yet again. Rosie, she's going to be locked out by her teammate here. A little bit awkward. If she gets caught, there's no way for her to get out. But really, she's going to be breaking that drone. So she might, go unspotted here. But the
Oh
shock dart
no.
from Iceberg, that's going to take away half her HP. And yep, that's Rosie going down here. Advantage again to ACL. And Yuri's, she's doing her best to literally slow the push with those slow orbs. But Yuki, she has to pop up here, get at least one pick to at least equalize things. And yeah, it just seems like ACL. Their heart is still set on the A side. But in the meantime, look at Ayumi. She's sneaking her way through B here, and we might see the rotation coming through.
Nuki.
But oh, that headshot! That's gonna be the spike dropped as Nuki takes down Oreophilia. And even if they want to rotate, they will have to grab it and make a run for it right now.
Oh. I mean, look at this. Aresta's already completed the rotate. Nobody's down in B, which means that Ayumi is going to be signaling for her teammates to come in with a
30
free
seconds
sight.
left.
He's already cleared up mid as well. Knows that nobody's going to come in from under that tube area unless Noxie's holding down this angle from Boiler. But they don't push it up. And, well, the timing couldn't have been better there for Inari if now she can just move up and it's free mid and once more Aresta isn't gonna be expecting this to come out. Ayumi, that mid control here is so pivotal for Ayumi and Alter Ego Celeste. The rotates coming in from both of these teams. Everyone's running around from Aresta. Where is everyone gonna come from? They don't even know that Inari's still here. The 3 versus 3 now, so silver lining is Aresta's gonna be able to trade it out, but got no clue where the rest of them are at. They know that there's one member looming down from B main. But time is slowly ticking away. Alter Ego Celeste at the cusp of match point. Aresta don't really have the luxury of pushing up with time, and she's gonna fall one by one, and Alter Ego Celeste pick up match point.
The time bought by Ayumi and Neri towards mid as well as towards CT, it was insane because even though it was a 3v3, there was absolutely no time left on the clock. And I was thinking that they're playing so far back because of the Hunter's Fury, but even otherwise, it was just so unfortunate for the side of Aresta here. And that was their full buy. They do, however, manage to save 2 weapons, so all hope is not lost. They will have 3 players on a bit of a broken buy here, but they do have multiple ultimates to work with. Rosie, in fact, if she manages to pick up the orb, will be able to pop the Viper's Pit, and it seems like that's what she wants to do here. Her teammate is going to be covering her, but realizes that it's not going to be viable because ACL has read that. They have that recon bolt coming in to prevent exactly this situation here. The Empress is popped here by Reina, but it might not be enough as Ayumi! I'm sorry, Inario! She just dashes in, and Rosie takes her down with a beautiful headshot. Ayumi, though, will get the trade. The Hunter's Fury being invested as well while Noxie takes out Oreophilia. Advantage temporarily towards ACL now as Noxie goes down here. It's Negi. Will spot one. Left in a 1v3 right now. Gets one, but 2 left to find. Knows the position of 130 HP left on the clock. So close to ACL winning this. Gets the headshot onto Ayumi with that Spectre.
Okay.
1v1. Iceberg versus Isnegi. Sova versus Sova. They're playing the mind games right now. Neither of them know where the other one is.
Recon.
And it's gonna come down to who spots out who first.
Yeah.
The patience from Iceberg here as she waits in this corner, but look at Isnegi's position. I don't know if she spotted out the barrel or not here. She has to hit this shot perfectly.
No!
But no, Iceberg. She's gonna close out things for AECO. The read was perfect, but there was too little HP and too little of a weapon to work with. And what a game coming in from both these teams. Aresta, they arrested me. That's all I have to say.
I mean, it was truly a valiant effort there for Aresta. They're facing up against the favorites of this tournament, but props to them. They made it so close, especially towards the first half there. Alter Ego Celeste, they knew that the kryptonite essentially of the Aresta defense is just to swarm them. They knew basically that Aresta is always going to try to anchor sight, And there was an easy counterplay to that. Just keep rushing into site. They didn't even have to rush. Just walk in and swarm those players. And once they take control of site, they know that they're already going to get the man advantage. Apart from those key moments where they just held on to site and refused to go down. Well, almost every single time on the attack, Alter Ego Celeste just took control of those sites.
I think AACL at this point is so experienced and so confident that they don't even need to do a default here. We saw that on Haven, like you mentioned that. We saw
Yeah.
it again here as well. And it's just a 4-woman rush or 5-woman rush. There is always one player possibly watching for flank. They're not even like lurking, watching for flanks and maybe taking control of the other side. But most of the time, it's just AACL absolutely rushing in, just playing off of their aim, playing off of the utility, and just taking the sites here. And looking at the scoreboard, you can see that Noxy definitely showed up for her team today. 21 kills on
Mhm.
the chamber, huge, and the rest of the team as well, not far behind. Really, really good team play coming in from the side of Aresta, but ACL, they were just especially on Haven, they were on another level. This map as well, they were so consistent. And I think the moment where it all started falling apart was that 4K from
4K.
Ineri,
Yeah.
two with the Sheriff, two with the Bladestorm, and
Yeah.
yeah, that was the beginning of the end for Aresta here, because before that round they had ACL on an eco, they had the weapon advantage. They could have equalized scores and possibly got 13-11 or even overtime. But man, after that round, I just feel like their mental broke as well as their economy.
I mean, it wasn't just because of the 4K, right? It was also sort of like the conditioning that Alter Ego Celeste was doing. That we remember when after the second half started, Alter Ego Celeste just kept on rushing and rushing and rushing into site. Not once did they go for mid control. They always went 4 members down in one site and then one watching the lurk. And that pivotal round where they got the 4K was also the round that they decided to walk up into site, not make any noise. And at that point, Aresta was already conditioned to thinking that since they're not hearing any noise down in A site, this is probably not where they're going to hit. But how wrong they were. And Neri was just the tip of the iceberg. But, well, the tip was almost enough to dismantle their defense completely. And the screen is showing it right now. A well-deserved MVP for Neri right there.
Yeah, I think both maps she probably had around close to 50 kills. If she definitely crossed
Hmm.
40, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, Inari again proving why she is one of APAC's best players and why she is the star for APAC's best female team here, AECL. They are gonna be moving forward after today's 2 victory over Aresta, and I'm really looking forward to seeing how they're gonna deal with it, because the only team that has beaten AECL till date is going to be Extend Crit, and they're not here. They're not here in
Yeah.
this best of in these 8 top teams. So ACL, all the teams in fact that are playing right now, I think they've beaten them at one time or the other. So as long as they don't get complacent and they continue being as insane as they were today, because that's the only word I can really think of, I think that it seems like yet again Open 4 will also be in their pocket, or we have an upset.
Yeah, I mean, you did mention X and Crit, who unfortunately won't be able to join us because of a team that dominated their group in the group stage. That is Thirst Red coming up next against Sovereign. But before that, we'll be just having a quick break. If you're just tuning in, my name's Dave. I'm casting here today with Zach. See you guys. We'll be right back in just a few.
got the money in the bank.